You seem to do a lot right for long periods of the game, but I guess the result obviously didn't go your way. But what's your reaction at the end of that one?
Oh, we're disappointed, obviously. I mean, we even the phase that we're at, we've been really explicit that we're setting up a plan and going to every game, to win the game. So that's clearly our objective, and it should be everyone's objective. But we within that focus, we're still really firmly focused on the long term for us and what we're building. So there were parts of our game today that were good. There were other parts that Port were better than us and what I'm most pleased about is that even when the game wasn't on our terms, we were able to find a way to fight and stay in the contest and show some real grit. And Port, I think, are a very good side, and that they kept challenging us and overwhelmed us at the end, but we just kept fighting to the end. And I think that's a great hallmark, and to have a shot late inside the last minute to square it up and potentially win the game, was pleasing. But we're not hiding away from the fact that we came here to win, and we're disappointed we didn't.
Defensively, I mean, that inside 50s and scoring shots were obviously lopsided in their favour, but you must have been racked with the defensive effort to actually hold them out and put them under pressure in their attack. Yeah,
under some duress. I mean, if you said the player that we could least afford to lose going into the game to a concussion, it would have been Ridley. We're already under a bit of pressure back there with our tall stocks, and then you probably have to shuffle your side to protect your defence. But I was pleased that we were still able to put scoreboard pressure on, even though we had to probably take some strengths away from our forward half to shore up our defence. It became a real battle of wills in the contest, and we thought we were getting good looks when we could get the ball forward in the contest, and we were sort of finger in the dike in the back half to try and sort of hold up. But again, the pleasing thing is the last 2 weeks under pressure, our players just kept fighting. So there are a lot of... I've said the same after wins and after losses. We've still got a lot to work on. And if we'd won that game by, a goal, I'd be saying the same things. So we're not as much as we'd love to get the result, we're just trying our best not to be outcome focused right at the moment and focus on the system of play that we're building. And, it didn't work for various parts or various stages of the game today, but some of that was circumstantial, and, we need to coach some different scenarios where we just get depleted in areas, and our tall defender stocks is obviously one of those.
Did you like the work in the centre square, particularly in the first half where you got right on top in that facet when you're talking about positives, whether you won or lost? That was one area. Yeah,
and it was in complete contrast to the start of our game last week against Geelong, so full credit to our 2 rucks and our inside midfielders, but also to Daniel Jean Syracusa and Ben Jacobs, our midfield coaches, who really went to work. We certainly needed to challenge that part of the game for us, and we started that really, really well. So that gave us some ascendancy in the game.
And do you like Jake Stringer in the middle or in attack, preferably 2 of him?
But yeah, both. I mean, but that's there are a lot of players like that in the competition that are equally valuable midfield and forward, and we're finding the balance with Jake, and we'd like to think that we can keep some forward power or firepower in our forward half. He's just building into his season, and the exciting thing for us is that he's only going to get better from here.
How is Jordan, and what did you make of that incident?
Perfect. I didn't even see the incident, didn't bother going back to have a look at it, but I saw the aftermath. So, these days, we just started planning straight away that he wouldn't come back on. So, no surprise that he was subbed off, but he's okay. And I think there were some reports that he had a broken jaw. He hasn't got a broken jaw. His jaw's fine. He's when they start testing for concussion now, it's like you're pretty sure that he's out. So, but look, he's in pretty good spirits. He's obviously not perfect, but he'll go into the concussion protocols, and we'll look after him and get him back in a couple of weeks.
When Phillips had that shot right near the end, were you confident that he'd make the distance, or what was your prediction, I guess, at that time?
I just don't get into that. It's like looking at the next centre bounce, looking at the kick in. We can't get our runner on the ground in the last minute, obviously, under the new rules. So, I just don't think about that stuff.
What did you do right? I mean, Port got 13 points up late and would have not been easy, but, you know, for them to kick away. And but what did you do right? And I guess what we learned from that last period where you actually had the chance to level the scores?
Yeah, it's always an interesting game of almost psychology in terms of, you know, the Port got in front. Do they try and save the game? We're going to try and win the game. So, you know, we went into a mode where we're just going to attack, and if they win by 20 points, they win by 20. But we're going to fight right to the end, and I think that's really important for our team that you know, because they've shown they've got the fight to fight it out to the right to the end. Now the result didn't go our way, but if you've got that foundation that you're going to continue to fight no matter what the score, then, you know, over time, you know, you like to think that the close games go your way more often than not.
Was a third of the way of the season. Are you heartened by, I guess, A, by the way you're playing, and B, the character that you've mentioned? You're heartened that you're on the right track? And
Yeah, I probably feel like I'm repeating myself a bit, but just I'm really optimistic about what we're building, and partly because of what we're demonstrating. But the other part, or probably the other half of it, is that I can see all the really clear areas for us to improve. And you know, again today, some of the things we didn't do well were a bit circumstantial, like a bit of, you know, losing key personnel, having to shuffle the team around. So, you know, give the players a little bit of an out on some of our full ground defence because they were being shuffled around. And we've got to go to work on that to make sure no matter what position on the ground you're playing, you play our system. But yeah, I'm heartened by what we're doing, but more optimistic about the room for improvement. If we can put all that together, then, you know, the future's very bright.
Take on the Lions without Ridley. How confident are you be able to, I guess, rearrange and go again?
Well, we just have to find a way, and that's our job. And we'll, you know, we were a bit different today in the way we set it up, and we'll have to be a bit different again next week. You know, but the talls are becoming a bit of a challenge. You know, Harrison Jones hurt his back, so he's going to be out for a period of time. So we'll just have to work our way around it, and whether that's with a change in personnel or change in system. But I think I speak for everyone. Like we've had a challenging run of games against really good teams, and our boys have been like excited by that, and you know, up for the fight. And you know, again, Brisbane in Brisbane, 6-day break, all the reasons, all the excuses in the world if you want to look for them. But our focus is that, you know, what another great opportunity to go and play a really good side on their home ground, and like we had the opportunity to do today against Port, and we relish the opportunity next week as well.